when you have to service this thing, you're going to be changing oil, rotating tires, in and out. You know, we get in it all the time. You know, service rider's going to get in just to check the mileage, and this is going to be a pain in the butt, because if you get in there, turn the ignition on, it's going to go into an alarm if you turn the ignition off too soon. You can turn the ignition on, gives you a few seconds, and if you turn it back off, it won't go into alarm. But that really doesn't give you much time to do anything. So what I did was, when I talked to CHP, he says I cannot deactivate or put in a deactivation switch. I could not modify it, but he did say you could take the fuse out. All right, so I dropped the fuse down here.
Can we kill the beeper, or just so that you can? I want to make sure they can hear you. Okay.
Okay. So right down there next to the parking brake, there's a fuse holder up in there.
Oh,
right
that
there.
black one right there?
Yeah, that black one right there. All you have to do is take that. I don't know if the light's getting in the way, or we need light.
Let me see here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the fuse is right there. If you pull that fuse out, it will also depower the system. So pull the fuse out, then you can service this thing, get in and out, turn the key on, key off. But before you put it into service, you gotta put the fuse back in. All right, and then check to make sure that it works. Checking to make sure that it works is just, you hear the tone when you turn the, yeah, see, it's on. When you plug the fuse back in, you'll get a rapid tone. It's initiating, it's turning on, it's getting power back. So you make that connection, you hear that tone, the alarms aren't going to go off, nothing. It's just getting power back.
So troubleshooting on the system, then, it sounds to me like if a technician comes in and say they drive the vehicle and they don't hear the sound of the system arming, they should probably check that fuse.
Yeah, the fuse is not there because somebody took it out, or it's blown that fuse. Then we got to do some troubleshooting on why. So the system's hooked up to the park brake. It's hooked up to each door. It's hooked up to the ignition, and it's hooked up to accessory, and it has its own harness and relay to power the dome lights when the key's off. So there's about 13 wire connections, and the button in the back. You got to add about 21 feet of wire to bring it. I ran it up above the headliner, all the way across the top, down this A-pillar, down inside. Most of my connections, 90% of the connections are in here. At the ignition switch, the horn circuit comes out of the steering column, so that connector's right here. The park brake is right here. The wires for the dome to get to the door jamb switches, there's a connector on the other side on the kick panel. You pull that off. You make 1, 2, 3, 4 connections over there, and that's it. It's easier if you pull the radio out, because you can run your harness up through behind the radio and back down and connect everything in here. It may look like a mess, but this is where everything sits. It's all right here. And I gave enough slack so that if we need to, we can pull it out, cut a wire tie. Here's the alarm.
That's the noisemaker.
That's the noisemaker. Okay. You have this is the dome light relay, and then I had to add this relay for the external lights to flash the parking lights. So that's where the system's at. Don't forget that fuse when you go to service it, and don't forget to put it back in. Most of the time when somebody is going to bring it over for an issue, it'll probably be a door jamb switch. But remember, the alarm goes off with the key out of the ignition. So if they're having an alarm with the key in the ignition, it's probably the system's not seeing ignition. But then it wouldn't turn on to begin with.
Do you have the schematics digitally for the
I drew up schematics. I located where the connections are, so that they can be troubleshot, and that'll be in the technician resources.
And what are you going to put it in? A folder marked van, youth bus van? Okay.
Yeah, we'll mark it as such. So, that's it.